Am I recording? Yeah, I am. I saw the little red dots there. What's up, everyone? Mario here with Nickel Prince. Today, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and a lot of people are actually very scared about, and we just try to avoid that subject. Today, we're going to talk about failure. Now, I say failure as if it's, a good thing. It is. It teaches you sometimes that something is either not for you, or you gotta approach it a different way. Before we get started, my name is Mario, as I mentioned previously. I have a t-shirt and crafting business called Nickel Prince. That was perfect. And on this channel, I like to give all of you tips and tricks and a little bit of advice on how to start your business, how to grow your business based off of personal experiences. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also smash that like button. All of that really helps the channel and it really helps me. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you right now, go ahead and leave a comment down below with something that you have failed at. Something that you failed and then succeeded on. Something that you really kept persisting with and eventually got it and did it. Let's start with a few of my failures aside from life. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I tried to start a couple of t-shirt businesses and they all failed. And not just t-shirt businesses, other types of businesses as well. I used to do photography and that actually started to do pretty well, but eventually I kind of just dropped it. I tried starting up a little landing page business called MFMWD. I actually had maybe 2 or 3 clients and I made a couple bucks off of it, but I never really continued it. I realized in order to actually make this a bigger thing, I need to really get into coding. I need to learn HTML and CSS a bit deeper. If I want to get into making a website actually work, I'm gonna have to learn some JavaScript and a few other languages maybe. So it's something that I decided, nah. So I just dropped that from one day to the other, just left it. As I mentioned previously, I tried making my photography a business. I actually kept that up ever since high school. And I kept it up maybe until I was 21 or 22, I think it was. And then I just stopped. I kind of fell into the whole social event space and I didn't like that. I never found myself to be really good at taking pictures at big groups or going up to big groups and telling them, look, get together, take a picture. It just wasn't me at the time. I mean, maybe if I picked it up now, it would be a little bit different. But at that time, it's not something that I was, I guess, really too comfortable with. And that was most of the business that I was getting. I preferred doing still life photography, some product photography, and pretty much just not having to have that human interaction. Telling somebody to pose or to get together or something like that. That just wasn't me. And at the time, I also did not know how to get into the still life photography space. I kind of was just going with it, and the majority of everything that was coming at me were events. So I kind of stopped that. I slowly started phasing out of it. I stopped accepting the little gigs I had here and there. I sold my camera, and I just left it at that. I want to start a geeky t-shirt business. I want it to be nerdy, based around video games, based around anime, retro stuff. I had about 4 or 5 ideas for t-shirts and I was just gonna start posting and see what happened. I got with a friend and I told him my idea because he's actually really good at drawing and he said, let's do it, let's try it out. So we run over to our local craft store and we get a speedball screen printing home starter kit. We get to his house, we open up the screen printing kit. We took it out, we tried it out, and we were very impatient. We didn't really understand how it was supposed to work, and we didn't really know the concept of burning a screen. We gave that a shot. We actually tried burning the screen, which we didn't know that's what we were doing, but we tried burning the screen about 2 or 3 times, and each time it didn't work out the way it was supposed to. I think the light bulb we were using was one of those yellow halogen ones, so it was never gonna actually harden the emulsion. Safe to say that didn't really work out. We kind of just dropped it there. I dropped it there. And that was the end of my first t-shirt journey. A little bit after that, I tried getting into the fitness space. A lot of you don't know this, but I actually used to be very overweight. I'm not saying that I'm not chunky now, because I'm still kind of chunky. And I was very uncomfortable with myself. I just didn't like how I was, so I decided to make a change, and I got really into my fitness, I got really into my health, and then I lost a total of 90 pounds. I had a lot of friends that after they saw my weight loss, they came up to me and started asking me for help, asking me how I did it, asking for some tips and some advice. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe I can make this into a thing. Maybe I can start a YouTube channel for this. Maybe I can start posting a lot on Instagram and getting this stuff out there. And so I did it. I started. I even thought about becoming a personal trainer at one point, but I didn't really get that far into it. So for about a year, I started building my Instagram page, I started building my YouTube channel, And I started building up a few other things. I started getting into a couple of affiliate programs, and it seemed to be going fairly well. Then COVID hit. And there went the gyms. So I tried to overcome and adapt. You gotta adapt if you want to keep going, if you want to succeed. You can't just be left behind. So I figured, you know what, let's do this. No gyms for now. Let's hit the at-home workouts. That lasted about a day. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work out for me. No pun intended. Maybe pun intended. I don't know, but it didn't work out for me. I stopped working out. I was hoping that, you know, the pandemic would only last a couple weeks. You know, this whole stuff was only going to last 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months. We're here 2 years later. But obviously things are a lot more normal now than they were back when everything started. I kind of fell out of the fitness space. You know, I stopped working out. I started a few unhealthy habits again. And I gained some of the weight back. So at the same time, I was actually trying to also start up a t-shirt brand. It was going to be focused around weight loss and fitness, motivational, but also on the geeky side, because I always liked geeky stuff and I liked working out, so I kind of thought putting the two together would be cool. That didn't really work out because, again, COVID hit, gyms closed. Not many people were going to be buying gym clothes anymore. So around the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, at that time I had just started a new job. I started that job because I had gotten laid off from my previous one, which I absolutely loved. I went into a more corporate environment, and in both jobs I did the same thing, working IT, which I'm actually still working there right now. Going into this more corporate environment, it's harder to make work fun. Not because of the job itself, because, you know, the job itself isn't really fun for me, but because of the people that you work with. I came from working a job where everyone was like super open about things, everyone was super cool. If you wanted to just get up, go do something, you could. If you needed to step out for 20 minutes, you could, you know, go up to your supervisor or your boss and tell them, yo, look, I need to step out for a little bit, I'll be back. And then things were cool, you know. It was a very chill environment, and I loved that. I loved that. And then I went from that to working in a stricter, more professional environment, which I don't like. I had forgotten, I guess, about how work really is in most other places. I'm not saying all places, but in most other places. Because I was at this other company for about 5 years. I loved it, you know? I was planning on being there for as long as I could. And then prior to that, I worked at a couple offices. They were professional. They weren't as corporate as this one, but they were still up there, you know? They were still they were still more professional. It was a more professional environment, and retail and all that stuff prior to that. Moving into this other job, I really realized I don't really like this. I don't want to do this for another 30 or 40 years, you know? You know, I can go to a different company and be a bit better, maybe like the environment a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you're still working on their schedule, you're still working supervised for the most part, unless you are a supervisor, but even then, there's always somebody above you. And I just got tired of being told, go do this, go do that. Even though my boss is super chill. He's cool, but in a professional way. And I don't know, it's just not me, you know? It's something that I kind of just got over. I like doing things my way. I like doing things on my time. For me, the best way to work is I'll get it done. I'll get it done my way, but I'll get it done. I don't like being told, I need you to get this done right now. Or I need this done by the end of the week. While, yeah, in the crafting and t-shirt business, it is like that. But I can do it the way I want or when I want up until that time that it is needed. So I'm really sorry, I completely digressed from the subject. How did I even get here? Oh man, sorry. I go from things and I hop sometimes. Anyway, so it's the beginning of 2020 and I decided I'm gonna do it the right way. A few things were going on in my life and Neko Prince kind of just stood out to me because of a childhood nickname and a few other things, so I decided to go with that. So I started doing a lot of research. I actually started researching different methods of making t-shirts and printing t-shirts. What stood out to me the most was screen printing. I figured that might be the best quality, the quickest to do, and that was really mainly what I found on YouTube. I looked up how to print shirts. I started seeing Ray as the Entrepreneur, Kenny and Ken, and a couple of other people. So I decided I'm gonna do screen printing. I decided I was just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna figure it out when I get my first order. Sure enough, I got my first order and I started screen printing. I burned the screen, I got everything done, and then when it came time to the actual screen printing part, I was able to get the first color down, but then I couldn't do 2 colors. I thought I was going to be able to align the screens manually, but it didn't work. I had this Amazon screen printing setup, and it was only made for 1 screen. So I thought I can just align it manually. Each time I'm going to take it out, put it back in, take it out, put it back in. Do that until I can afford a bigger screen printing setup with a bigger space, and just take it from there. No, it didn't work. I was not able at all to align the screens. I was able to do it for the first print, but then once there was ink already on the screen, the second pass for the second shirt was impossible. I couldn't do it. And then on top of that, on the back, it was supposed to be a big white print, and I didn't know that white ink was different than regular ink. So when I did that, it did not print right at all. So I would pass the squeegee, and then right under it, I would get this huge blob of ink, and it was just a mess. It was horrible. It didn't work. So I thought, crap, what am I gonna do? This guy already paid me half, and that was the end of my screen printing journey. That was the failure part on my screen printing journey. I failed at screen printing, and then I threw it to the side. And then I remembered a few of the other methods that I had learned about that didn't really interest me as much. Specifically, heat transfer vinyl. So I thought, let me look up a few things on heat transfer vinyl. Let me see if it's reliable. Let me see what I can do, because I need to get these shirts done like yesterday. I had already asked him for an extension of a week or 2 weeks, I don't remember. And he said, yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it. So I stayed up a whole night researching HTV, what machines to use, what machines there are, what I can afford, what I can do, and I thought, this is kind of expensive. This is $400, plus the extras with the HTV and a few other things. I already had the heat press because I was actually planning on curing the shirts with the screen printing with the heat press, so I already had that, thankfully. So I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna put it on my credit card, and then when I start making some money off of this machine, I can pay off the card. So I took the risk, and I went with the Silhouette Cameo. So I purchased the Cameo, and I did a whole night's worth of research, literally from I think 10 o'clock when my wife and son went to sleep to about 4 in the morning. I spent watching videos, watching how-tos, watching tutorials, learning as much as I could about the machine. And I purchased it off Amazon Prime for the win. And sure enough, 1 to 2 days later, I had the machine and I got to work. HTV was so much easier to use for beginning. It was ridiculous. I don't know how I didn't decide to go with that first. For me personally, at least. So I was able to knock out his shirts. I did everything. It was a front logo print and a big back print. These are it right here, actually. And he loved them. I was so happy and relieved that I was able to get it done. And then a little bit after, I started posting more on Facebook. I posted a lot on Facebook Marketplace. And then I got another order. I got a fairly big order of about 30 shirts. Yellow design with white text on a black shirt. Super easy, super simple, knocked it out fairly quick, and I made my money back, paid off the Cameo, and that was my first success, officially, because I was able to pay off the Cameo. And then it kind of just snowballed from there, and then I just started adding, doing some more research, learning more. I can't emphasize the words learning more. Educate yourself in a lot of these methods, new methods, old methods. Some things will work for you, some things won't. Do your research. So some time passes. In between that time, I started an Etsy store. Now that Etsy store was geared towards geeky, fun merch. Started doing a lot of Pokemon shirts, a lot of Demon Slayer shirts, a lot of Nintendo shirts, Power Rangers masks. I would do some canvases, some metal prints, and it was all copyright stuff. I got where it was that I read that any copyright material could be taken down and it would be a strike against you and your store. I think for about a year and a half, I just kept doing it. I would get a strike every once in a while. I learned what brands would lead you to a strike and which ones wouldn't, or would take longer, which ones would be pretty much immediate. Demon Slayer being one of the ones that was immediate. And I kind of guided my way that way. I know I got more than 3 strikes, that's for sure. I had over, I want to say 1,000 sales, and I had over 450 5-star reviews, with the occasional 4 stars. I worked my butt off for that Etsy store, I really did. And I knew in the back of my mind that one day it would get shut down. But by that point, I thought, this is pretty much all my Etsy store is known for. I'm just gonna keep going at it until I do get shut down, and then I'll just figure it out then. And then one day, my Etsy store got shut down. I actually talk about that a bit more into detail in this video right here. So go ahead and open that in a new tab so you watch it after this one. And then there went a success turned failure. I built up a lot of good reviews. I built up a lot of sales. I myself led it to the failure because I knew it was gonna get shut down eventually. It just sucks when it did happen, but it is what it is. And you know what? I learned from that. And my current Etsy store, I don't have anything copyright. I don't have anything that's trademarked. You know what? I just remembered. We have a giveaway winner to announce. Huge thank you to HTVRont. So last month they sent me over a few things, and in that was included a heat transfer vinyl roll as well as a mini heat press. Now I have a bunch of HTV already, and I already have a mini heat press. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and give these to somebody that doesn't. So I ran a giveaway on my TikTok. Congratulations to Nancy Temple, VVCupid215 on TikTok. You are the winner of this giveaway. Congratulations. I've realized that in order to actually make something a success, you have to really like it, because otherwise, if you find yourself forcing yourself to do something, I mean, this probably isn't the case for a lot of people, but for me personally, if I force myself to do something that I really don't like, I'm gonna get tired of it. I'm gonna stop caring, and if it's something that I'm not being pushed to do, like let's say at work, I'm just gonna leave it. Keep figuring things out. Keep experimenting. Keep seeing what works and what doesn't. And if you really realize that something isn't working and it keeps failing over and over and it's just causing you more frustration, try dropping it. Try finding something else out. Find a different way of doing things. Maybe it'll work out a lot better. To this day, I haven't touched the screen printing setup. I want to, I really do, but I don't have anywhere near enough space to be able to even have a one press at this time. If this video helped you at all, or motivated you, or inspired you, or tickled any of your senses, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. It helps a lot to this channel and it means a ton to me. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.